What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. I'm super pumped. We've got someone joining us all the way up from London. He is an entrepreneur, a coach, and a speaker. He is also the creator of the one-page plan on how to live your best life. Please welcome Moe Choice. Moe, thank you for being here today. Woo-woo!
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Oh, I'm so excited for this conversation. You are very much in alignment with what I'm all about. So can you kind of tell the audience a little bit about how you got to creating this one-page plan and a little bit about your background.
Oh, okay. I tend to talk a lot, so just cut me off if you think I'm talking too much. But I'll give you the headlines, and then you can tell me if you want to deep dive in anything.
Okay.
So pretty early on in my life, I realized I didn't really want to follow any guidance. I wanted to figure things out my own way, and that I was happy to make my own mistakes. So that's a good starting point, I think. And then I did the conventional education, did university, did all that stuff, but I was running my own it was an illegal business at the time. Not drugs or anything. I was reselling music compilations without the license for them.
Okay.
Bootleg, let's say.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So I started pretty early on, late teens. I thought, okay, I want to hustle and I want to do my own thing. Loved music, loved football, soccer, as you call it. And I wanted to do something in that, but I didn't know how. I wasn't good enough to be a soccer player or a musician. And so I decided to just explore more. And so I just started building businesses. So by 2014, I'd built 12 different businesses, a couple of which were successful in whatever metrics you want to measure business success by. Most of them weren't as successful as I'd hoped. But none of that gave me anything I wanted, or at least it didn't feel like I had anything I wanted.
Right.
So it came to a stage where, even though I had the things I thought I wanted, I felt a little bit hollow and a little bit alone. And then in 2012, my best friend passed away suddenly
sorry.
from a heart attack, and that screwed up my belief in the world. Let's say something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided I wanted to change. I had to change my life. I had to change what I was doing. I had to figure out what I really was here for and what kind of legacy I wanted to create. And I still did nothing for 3 years. And what ended up happening was I was drinking too much, eating too much, not looking after myself, fighting with some of my closest friends and family. And then I got into arms with my investors, and it became a money, legal type of thing. And I decided the best thing to do was to learn the lesson I learned 3 years earlier, which was to start again.
Yeah.
So I started again. So I literally put my passport in my pocket and went to the airport, booked my flight, and left everything behind.
Oh my goodness. Where'd you go?
I went to Greece, to an island called Amorgos, and I started mapping out my life there.
Okay.
And I met my mentor, who was Greek. She's the one who invited me there, actually. I met her in the airport in Dubai. And I got close to her. She taught me everything she knows. She passed away this year from cancer. So that's like a closed loop. But that was 7 years ago that I met her. And we always talk about 7-year cycles. So it was a really interesting coincidence, because this is the first year I felt like I could do it on my own. And
wow.
So since 2015, I've been trying to figure out how to figure out who you want to be.
Yeah.
And how you want to live and what you want that to look like. And as I started figuring things out, I had to test it. Well, how do you test it, right? You present it to people and you see what the resistance is or what the questions are. And so I started doing that in 2015. And as of today, I've got really clear on what needs to happen for you to live your best life.
So what does that look like for, let's just say, for example, if you have had a recent client or someone that's signed up to learn this from you, what does that look like for someone?
So the way I figure it, you're only going to have 3 problems really in life. The first is the primary problem, which is where are we going?
Right.
What's the point? You could look at it that way. Some people call it your why, like why do you exist? You can
Yeah.
think of it that way. But that's the first thing you have to clarify. Like, where are you going? You're waking up every day and you're struggling through whatever you're struggling through. Why? Where is that going to take you?
Yeah.
But other than to death, which is
Right.
ultimately what will happen to all of us, at least in this form. So we want to get clear on where you're going, where you think you're going, where you want to be.
Okay.
Once we figure that out, then we have to decide how we're going to get there. So I can give you a metaphor. So if you and I say we're going to Vegas this weekend, we know we're going to Vegas. It's like, okay, we decided we're going to Vegas. The next thing is how are we going to get there? Is it a road trip? Or are we going to take a five, you
can't really drive there, but I could.
Yeah, right. And so you figure out how, and that's about values and principles. Things that 2015, if you said to me, what are your values? I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was 37 years old. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And then what are your principles? And when people ask me what are your principles, it'd just be cliches.
Sure.
It'll just be things that I heard that I think I'm supposed to say. So you really want to get clear on what your real principles are, the principles you want to live by, not the principles that you think people want you to say.
Do you think a lot of people are clear on what their principles are? Or they have a hard time defining those for themselves?
Well, from my observation, people are very good at speaking their principles, but not living by them.
Ooh, yeah, so true. So true.
Right. So I think people know who they want to be, but they don't live that way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, when I ask people about values and stuff like that, authenticity and love and freedom, and it's like it doesn't really mean anything. It's like everyone wants that.
Yeah.
That's universal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really more about the principles behind how you're going to get your freedom and authenticity. Because it's easy to say, I want my freedom. It's like, okay, well, how the hell are you going to get there?
Yeah.
What do you have to do? You have to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
You have to change something, unless you're free. If you're free now, keep doing what you're doing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's about the process values rather than the outcome values. It's something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So if you want to feel good, you probably need to value healthy food and the gym.
Yes.
But no one wants to say my values are the gym and healthy food. They want to say my values are feeling great about myself or confidence or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then once you figured that out, your path, let's say, you can think of it as your non-negotiables too, right? I'll only do this if.
Right.
Then you can decide what to do next. And this is where I think people fall down. People think about 3, 7, 10-year goals. It's like you don't need to think about that. You need to think about what living your best life is.
Yes.
Which is where you want to be.
Yeah.
And then you need to just look at the next 12 months and say, well, what do I need to do in the next 12 months that's going to get me closer to that?
Yeah.
And once you figure that out, it's then a monthly, weekly, daily process. And it's just one step at a time, really. So really with people I work with, it's mostly breaking the limiting beliefs and the assumptions about how I'm supposed to do things.
Yeah.
To get them to build it back again from scratch.
I love that. I love it. And so you've helped over 1,000 individuals to map out how to live their life on their own terms. And so when you do that for someone, let's say, like, I'm going to sign up and be like, hey, Mo, I love what you're all about. I think I need your help with creating this 1-page plan for myself. What does that process look like?
So we usually do it in groups. I'm all for like collective wisdom, right? It's like we all know things that everyone I meet knows something I don't know. And when we bring it together, we can start seeing things about ourselves and about the world that we didn't see before. And it's less confrontational than sort of one-to-one work.
Yeah.
So I'll put a group of people together, somewhere between 6 and 20, 26, let's say, something in that region. And we'll meet once a week for 7 weeks.
Okay.
And every week we will build the next stage of the plan.
Right.
And then by the 7th week, you've got your 1-page plan. And then it's down to you then to put that plan into action.
Do you feel that people are able to like stick to that plan without are they accountable to you after the fact?
Yeah. So we meet once a month if people want to. Okay. We meet once a month at the end of the month to do a reflection. Okay. And that's where you ask the questions. Did I do what I said I was going to do this month? If not, why not? And what do I want to do better next month? And that ritual, I think, really helps. But ultimately, if you don't take the action, if you don't do what you said you're going to do,
Right.
You're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
That's like pointing. That's like pointing at the mall and saying, "I want to go to the mall." It's like you need to walk. You need to walk to the mall. Like you can't just say you want to be in the mall. You need to walk. You need to get up and walk there.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of idea. I mean, I don't understand this. So many people are looking for shortcuts. It's like, where did this idea come from? That there's a shortcut to getting to where you want to get to. I don't understand that.
Hey Dad, how you been? What's going on?
Well, not too much. Spring cleaning time.
Well, did you weed whack? Did you get the carpets cleaned? 'Cause I know Mom's all about that, so I want to make sure we're ready to go.
Well, yeah. I got the gutters clean. That's about it.
That's it? Well, when I said weed whack and all that and the carpet, I kind of meant like the Manscaped 4.0. It's a little more personal.
I understand. Yeah.
Works awesome.
Have you tried this?
I have tried it and it works wonders. It really does. Yeah.
Okay. This is pretty cool. And see, it comes with an LED light, and I understand it's waterproof.
It is waterproof. It works well. I tried it. I mean, it's a good product. It's a great product. I've tried other ones, and they're just so noisy, and they don't cut very well.
Wow, that's really good, Mike. Where do we get this?
Well, you can get it at manscaped.com, and while you're at manscaped.com, you know that we got a code, so we get it cheaper.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of a discount can we get?
We can get it at label-free 20, and it gives you 20% off the product, and it gives us free shipping. And I've tried some of the other products there because they got these all new premier products. Like this here, it's a deodorant.
Now, is it for underarm or other places or?
I tried, but it's for the underarm.
Okay.
That's where it's at. And you can also get it at manscaped.com. Same code. We use the code again. Label free 20. Label free 20%
off and free shipping.
Free shipping. I mean, how can you go wrong with that, right?
Wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand it either because, it's all about the journey, not the destination, right? We learn our best lessons through hardships, through things that have, created barriers for us. And it's about finding the lesson or the skill to get over that hurdle, to get over that setback, something like that. So for me, I've learned, how to embrace the struggle and find the value, the lesson, the skill that I needed to get through it. And so for me at this point in my life, if I have a struggle, I'm looking at that as an opportunity to grow even more for myself, but not everybody feels that way.
You're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer if you sit and do nothing.
Right.
You're gonna suffer if you're trying to get to get what you want. You're gonna suffer either way.
Yeah.
It's like, so which suffering do you choose?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people, I think a lot of people like to wallow in their own self pity, like, oh, woe is me. And it's just like, that doesn't do anybody any good. And I think by the time they realize that they're doing it, sometimes they feel so defeated and almost like it's too late that they don't even want to turn their attitude around because they've been stuck on that feeling or that mindset. And that's held them back. So, you really have to make a choice on how you want to live your life. If you're ready to make that change, you're wanting to live your best life, because everybody has the opportunity to do that. I mean, you don't have to be stuck at a job you don't like. You can take that risk and step outside of that comfort zone and do something that is going to set your soul on fire.
I think that's real wisdom there. And I think I was like that. I just made excuses. I blamed everybody. I wasn't in the mood. I had suicidal thoughts, like real suicidal. I know everyone thinks about suicide at some level, but I was like, what is the point? Like, why am I here? What's the point? And it was like you said, choice. That's why I changed my name to Moe Choice, because the idea was I have more choice than I think. Every time I wake up, I've got infinite choice.
Yeah.
And why am I only looking at the things that I can't control, or the things that upset me, or the things that I don't want to do?
Yeah.
Why aren't I looking at what I can do? And why aren't I looking forward? Why do I keep looking back and thinking about the things I could have done better? It's like, it's that it took me a long time to understand that the right way was this way. It took me a long time.
Yeah.
And no one ever taught me this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think even if someone tried to teach it to you. Some of us learn through our own experience than listening to like a teacher or listening to a YouTube or something like that. We have to learn it ourselves. Like I am someone that has to learn in the moment, so it's taken me a couple of failures to learn certain things, but if you don't learn it the first time, God's going to challenge you again to learn that lesson eventually. So pay attention.
That's exactly why at the beginning I said to you, I decided pretty early I wasn't gonna follow anyone's path. I was gonna figure it out on my own. So yeah, that's exactly right.
I love
You have
that.
to live certain stories in order to tell them.
Yes. Amen. And that's why we're here. We have a story to tell. And then, that's why I started Label Free Podcast, because I was labeled for so long for so many different things. And I wanted just to like drop those labels and tell my story and just embrace the person that I am, because all those different things that I've gone through doesn't label me. It just gives me wisdom and experience. It's my story, and so I love talking to people like yourself to share our stories, because we can be hopefully encouraging someone out there that's listening to break out of anything that's holding you back and drop those labels and figure out how to live your best life. With that being said, so you've got some suggested interview topics here, and I love them. What is one that if you were to pick for yourself that you would like to share with the audience?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I often, you know what? The best advice I ever heard was speak about what you care about.
Yeah.
Right? Don't think about what the audience cares about. Speak about what you care about, because you can bring the audience in.
Exactly.
And what I care about most is how you think about things. So I would say the biggest impact on your experience in life and your quality of life is how you think about life, how you think about yourself, how you think about others, how you think about the world, how you think about what happens in this world.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
The way you think about things. And people don't think enough about how they think.
Right.
So it's like decision making, right? Your whole day is decision making. If you think about it, what time do I wake up? What am I going to wear? What am I going to eat? Who do I call? Right? It's constant, but we never think about how do we make these decisions.
Yeah.
So, Simon Sinek, he's got the start with why, right? Philosophy. Mm-hmm. I say start with why is great. Focus on how. Once you've understood why, which is where you're going, that's in my language is where you're headed. Then you have to focus on how you want to get there.
Yeah.
And that's philosophy, principles, values, ethics, code of conduct.
Yeah, I love that. That's really great.
I could talk about that for days.
No, but I agree with that. It's, that's pretty deep, and some people probably don't understand that. Like, well, I understand why, but blah, blah, blah. It's a unique plan. So your one plan, one page plan. It's a unique plan that people have to put together for themselves to really identify how they're going to get to a place where they're feeling they're living their best life. You're still going to have bad days, right? No matter if you are living your best life or not, you're going to have bad days, but those bad days isn't going to prevent you from living your best life. Like yesterday, I was in a crappy mood because I was still jet lagged. I still felt out of it. I'm like, I have so much to do, so I had to really work on my mindset to come out of that funk and feel better and just really be appreciative and thankful for my life and being and living. Like I am definitely one of the best places that I've ever been in my life. And it's, it took me a long time to get here. But, even when you wake up and you're having a crappy day, you can still embrace that you are living a beautiful life and that you've created, and hopefully you're on the path to creating your best life possible.
And that's exactly right. So when we talk about how you want to get to where you want to be, the words that you were talking about, appreciation, right? Embracing the uncomfortable,
yes.
Right? Facing the challenge, overcoming it, being open about it, being honest about it, being vulnerable about it, sharing your emotions, expressing yourself. These would be the things that you choose to do to get. Yeah. So it's not about you choose to do things so that everything works out for you. It's exactly what you were saying. It's how do you handle the things that are out of your control or that you weren't expecting or that were challenging,
Yeah.
right? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. I love it. Where can people find you, connect with you, find out when the next group session is if they're looking to figure out how to live their best life?
So if you Google Moe Choice, there'll only be one set of results, I hope. But you can find me on Linktree. So that's linktr.ee/Moe Choice. That's got all my social media handles, my latest podcast appearances, my next masterclass, my workbooks that I create for people to download and figure out their own stuff from. So you can find pretty much everything on there. But otherwise, you just Google Moe Choice and you'll see a whole bunch of things come on the first page. And you can just connect with me in any way.
Awesome. You guys, I'm going to put that link in the show notes. So if you connected with Moe here today, listening to our conversation, and you're looking for a way to live your best life, go click that link, find out where you can connect with him, read about him, see what he's got going on, see that masterclass, and figuring out your one-page plan. And as you can tell, he is absolutely delightful to talk to. So don't be shy. Click that link and reach out to him. Moe, now is the time of the episode where I like to ask my guest for any last words of wisdom or advice to leave with the audience. So what would you like to drop on us today?
So I was thinking about this from the beginning, actually. If you're not living your best life, everything is up for change. You can't pick and choose what you want to keep and what you want to try to change. Everything is up for change.
Yeah.
Right. It's the story of death and rebirth, really, or the hero's journey, if you like, the oldest story. So you have to be prepared to kill who you are, metaphorically, in order to birth who you want to be.
Yeah.
Right. And there's an add-on to that, which is if you're still living and breathing, right, you can always start over now.
I love it. Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that because I was just watching something. I don't know if it was a motivational video from YouTube. I watch them like all the time just because I feel like it's good to constantly put good into your brain to keep your motivation, that fire going, you know, because as we get older, it's very easy to let that fire die out. Right. And so you have to actively make sure that you are keeping that like childlike curiosity and keeping that passion burning, because life is tough and it will try to dim your light. And so I work very hard to keep my light lit, like, let's go. But I was watching something and it was just like so many actors that, you know, they were doing menial, like mundane jobs before they became something great. And it wasn't until later in life for a lot of them, you know, in their 40s. And I mean, Morgan Freeman, I think it was in his 60s. And so I really believe that it's never too late. It's never too late to go after your dream, go after something that you're passionate about. Don't lose that childlike curiosity, the childlike love for things, that passion that burns in us for a very long time in our early age, but we can still let it burn later in life.
Exactly right. As long as you're alive, right, you've got an opportunity to live your best.
Woo woo! Moe, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Please keep us updated on any new projects, or if you come out with a book or something, we'd love to have you back to update the audience. I loved having this conversation. I think we could probably get into the weeds for hours because I like getting deep, man. What can I say? I think it's just great having these conversations. So thank you very much for sharing your time with us today. And we look forward to seeing what great things that you're going to do in the future.
I appreciate you a lot, Deanna. Thank you. And I'll speak to you soon, I'm sure.
Yes. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, rate, review, share, comment, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.